Hey, thanks for hanging out. I'm Rachelle, LyAnn, and you're listening to Thoughts About That. All right, welcome back. I am excited for today, and I feel like the solo episodes were just a lot harder, so I'm excited to have a guest today. And none other than Deonna Marie. We actually met at Tez Wings, getting some grub, and I was like, wait a minute, that ad or the flyer that's on the wall, like, that's you, you know? And I was like, I just took a picture of it. Like, I was gonna, promote it and things, and it's you. So I was like, hey, let's connect.
Yes.
And
so
here
glad.
you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you look gorgeous.
So do
that
you.
Purple that's your thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's your thing. Well, I invited Deonna here because we are a space that, we want to talk about, leisure and fun, but we also talk about things that help people feel less alone. That was one of the biggest reasons why I started this. And so, yeah, I'm great to have you. So tell me what your show that you have coming up at Factory Obscura is about.
Okay, so the Deonna Marie experience, from the crack house to the opera house, blooming from brokenness, is a collection of stories from my real life. Okay. It's a collection of songs that came from my heart, in words, and it's also some acting involved, some theatrics. Okay. So it's just a combination of things, telling my story, and hopefully helping other people to heal from their own. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So is this, so Factory Obscura is a museum experience type place downtown in Oklahoma City. I know some people are,
wondering what that is.
Right, yeah. Right. And so Deonna is performing there August 10th through 27th. Yes. And so go support her. But I love this. So you kind of take that and, channel your own healing, I'm sure, and then helping other people.
Yeah, it's been a lot of healing, just doing this process in general. It's just been a lot of healing for me.
From the crack house to the opera house, how did this become a thing? How did that become a part of your story?
Well, I grew up with two parents on drugs. Okay. And so I was always around it.
Are you from Oklahoma City?
I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, originally. Okay. But I moved to Oklahoma City about 12 years ago. Okay. I came here from to pursue my degree in opera performance. Wow. So that's what ended up getting me here. Okay. But what ended up getting me on crack was, I think life just beat me down. Mm-hmm. And everybody around me was either using it or selling it. And,
Here in Oklahoma City?
In Grand Rapids.
In Grand Rapids, okay.
That's where my family is. And, sometimes when you feel alone and you feel like you're the only one not doing something, sometimes we do things to try to fit in. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes we do things to maybe put a Band-Aid on our problems. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or for me, part of it was I wanted my mom's attention. Mm-hmm. I had never had it before. I yearned it at that point in my life. And I figured if I was doing what she was doing, I could spend time with her and she would hear me. Wow. Yeah. And so, and she would, yes, it's so deep how we think sometimes and how we end up in
because we don't know that it's bad. How old were you?
When I started?
You started?
18.
18, okay. So you do have an idea that it's not the best thing, but you still wanted to do it because you wanted time with your mom? Or did you see it as a bad thing?
Oh, yeah, it was a bad thing. I had gone through several foster care homes. Okay. And, my mom had picked the drugs over us in several situations. And it was some sexual abuse involved. And, so I knew it wasn't a good thing. That's deep. But I didn't care. I wanted my mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wanted her attention. Yes. And I yearned for that more than anything. So
Did she ask you, or did you say, let me get in? No, or did you start outside of her and then join her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I started outside of her and then Then I joined her and leveled up.
Okay. What does leveled up mean?
Well, I was smoking corn dogs, and corn dogs is like a joint. You can either use weed or you can use cigarette tobacco, and then you crush up the crack cocaine, or some people sprinkle it with cocaine, the powder form, and then they smoke it. Well, my choice was to use tobacco and to make a cigarette with crack in it.
Like a laced
cigarette. That's why you
cigarette.
got to be careful what. Yes, and so that was my preference. But when I started using with my mother, she smoked a crack pipe, and the crack pipe is very raw. You get the drug. It's just a different way of using the drug. 20 times more effective and 20, 30 times more addictive. So,
well, because statistics say that crack is so potent that you could get addicted just by one hit.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. I when you got to get, I guess a hit that's strong enough. And once you do, it's.
So, the statistics, and I say statistics because we just looking at people collectively, right? I think it's like, 1 in 12 men will get addicted. We're talking any substance. Sure. And then 1 in 25 women. So I remember I worked a while back at the Department of Mental Health, and I was a part of, I helped with the suicide prevention committee, okay. And just got, absorbed a lot of information. I've also had my own mental health, journey. Mm-hmm. But I remember one time the former commissioner, Terry White, we were all sitting around a table. She was doing a presentation, and she was like, she tried to humanize addiction and explain it scientifically. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she said, 10 of us could all be sitting here having dinner, and we try wine all for the first time. Mm-hmm. And one will get addicted, meaning they're chemically inclined to keep going. Mm-hmm. Okay. Everybody else, they've tried it, but it's gone through their system. Yeah. And it's, it's like, I'll have wine again. Maybe I'm not thinking about it. Right. The one that is chemically inclined, they're thinking about it. It's the urge is there. And so that helped me because I have addiction in my family. And we do know that we are predispositioned. We do know that there are other factors. There's trauma. There's all these things. So do you feel like, or do you believe that no matter if it runs in your family or not, no matter if you've had trauma, extensively or not, if you try crack for the first time, you could get addicted without any of those factors?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. If you're human and you have problems, or if you have fears or insecurities, or it takes away all of that.
Really?
All that. You feel invincible, like you have a superpower. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to be straight up.
No, I want you to be. I want you to be. Yeah, that's what we are here.
Yeah, it's one of the most amazing feelings that I've had, to be honest with you.
And I've heard that.
Oh, it's true.
But however, it's very short.
Oh, it's very, very short.
Like 15 to 20 minutes.
Sometimes it depends on what you get. But you just kind of keep going anyway. I mean, it depends on how addictive your personality is.
So, addictive personalities, right? Mm-hmm. It's totally a thing. Obviously, we're all addicted to our phones. So that's a common addiction that we have. But addictive personalities, I mean, I definitely feel like that way with certain things. Have you felt that way with anything else in your life? Even people?
It just depends. I think we all get addicted. I try to make sure at this time in my life, at this point, to have balance with everything.
What does balance look like?
Doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Yep. Just enough of this and that. And sometimes, to make sure I get my meditation in and make sure I get my exercise in and make sure I just sit and do nothing. I love to daydream. I love to moon gaze. I love to sun gaze. So give myself a moment to breathe and to do the things that I know that feeds me. It's very important that I do that.
It's very important.
For me and everybody around me, because if I don't, I'm a different person. You know what I mean? And I work very hard to be a light. You know what I mean? Especially through the darkness that I have experienced in my life. And so I wanted to touch on something else that you said about addiction. So growing up with two parents on drugs, I was very different as a child. And I observed a lot of things that probably a lot of adults were going through or in. And I don't know if they ever stopped to even see it. But what I've come up with is everybody's addicted to something.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And so I never say, my thing is now, what's your choice? What you addicted to? What's your vice? Yeah, it could be porn. It could be, they say, statistically, we're talking about statistics that the number one drug in the world is sugar. Yeah. More addicting than heroin, crack, and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? And it, make sure like I never judge people. Yes. Because we're all addicted to something and we like to put labels on it and then stick people in corners and boxes. Yeah, and say, oh no, they're addicted to. I'm like, well, what are you addicted to? Because that's one of my lead questions that I ask people, just especially if I think they're judging. And a lot of people don't realize.
Do you feel like I was judging?
No. Okay. Oh no, not at all. No, you just asking me.
Okay, I want this to be safe, and I don't. There may be some things. One of the reasons I was scared to start a podcast was because, saying something you can't take back.
Sure.
But I'm learning. I'm just like we all are. And that's what this is for.
Yeah, that's what it's about. No, it's a lot of times people judge and they don't even realize it. They don't. I do it sometimes too with certain things. Oh, I didn't mean to. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so I know maybe somebody out there might be listening and they have a family member that's on drugs, or they have a drug addiction themselves and they're beating themselves up, or they're listening to other people. You should just quit. Why don't you stop? What? Right. And they have no idea what this battle is. Mm-hmm. And so I always like to remind people, just in case someone's out there listening, which is so many people are listening, right? Hi, y'all. Hey. But that we can't judge a book by its cover. Absolutely. And unless you're going through that journey yourself, then how do you know? There's a line in my show, and when I first hit the crack pipe, and I inhaled, you get high on the exhale. So once you exhale, all the things that starts happening. Yes. And when I first did that, my first time, I was sitting across from my mother and I was holding it. I was holding it because I had been out of drugs for a while and I really wanted this.
You want the feeling.
Yeah, it did. And then I blew it out. And I don't know what. I was like, this is way better than anything I've ever had, But my thought, following that thought, was I understood my mother. I understood the foster care. I understood the sexual abuse. I understood the neglect. I understood, and I carried hatred in my heart for her for my whole life. And it was wiped away right then. Gone. Clean as snow. Gone.
People sometimes, I feel like, say that about experiences with like shrooms. Like they have these, different experiences and come out of the trip and, they see things differently.
Sure.
How would you say, like, seeing things differently, wiped away? What did that change? Like, what did that change? Like, it dropped what?
The burden of anger. Of hatred, of confusion, and that's heavy.
It's very.
A lot of people don't understand if you are angry at someone or you resent them or for whatever reason, it's heavy and it weighs on your soul. Mm-hmm. And I think my soul was lighter in that moment, Mm-hmm. I really this is totally worth it. Oh, I don't know if I can swear.
You can.
Oh, fuck them kids. That's what, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I got it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh. And so all my life.
Do you have kids?
No.
Okay.
But all my life, my mom, all her family would judge her. You know what I mean? And outside people and, and they had no room because they had no idea of the journey, what it's like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm from New Orleans. I grew up you know, around all kinds of things. That was definitely one that, you know, was right down the street, and it was just a normal thing that we talked about, but we didn't, we did judge. You know, I learned judgment from my parents and the adults that I was around. And, you know, I was in the suburbs and before I moved to this area, and you know, there's just some things you just don't see anymore. Mm-hmm. And when I moved to the city, like you see more people experiencing homelessness. And I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't really go anywhere, you know, when I was there. And so now it's like just in your face all the time. Mm-hmm. And I saw this meme on Facebook that said that, you know, we judge, but they don't have shelter to experience their crises, their mental health explosions or episodes. Mm-hmm. It happens in front of everyone. Yeah. And so, of course, people are like, oh, they're this or they're that, but we don't get to see behind closed doors when I'm losing my shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When I'm struggling. Right. And so I thought that was just a game changer for me, because what would I feel like? What would that be like if I experienced my crises in front of the world? Yeah. Yeah. To see.
Right. And half of it would weigh on you, and it weighs on a lot of people because it's in front of other people. Mm-hmm. So often we give so many other people our power. What they think, what they might think, what they might not think. It's, again, just burdens that are just heavy, you know? Right. And I'm just so glad I'm free from that.
You seem so free. Like there's this, like, I can't explain it. It's like a, I don't know, just like a Mandela aura around you where you're just kind of like, I'm high on life, bitch.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, who needs, you know?
I feel that.
Once you love who you are, like straight up, and and you're not even judging yourself, what you're going through, right. And you take your lemons and you make some lemonade and you sip on that shit. You know what I mean? Right. And you learn to enjoy it. Like, man, this is all right.
How do you feel like, you know, you cope to not go back? Do you feel like that is ever a fear of yours?
No.
Wow.
No.
That is powerful.
No. Not at all. Not at all. No, because I know that it was my divine purpose to go through that.
Really?
Oh, I know for a fact. Yes, I needed to, because if it wasn't for that, it was when I woke up clean. Okay, literally. My parents, my aunt, some of my uncles, you know, they're clean. They got their life back because they saw, oh, wait, this is possible. And that was worth everything. I would easily go back in the fire just to trade, to make sure that they have some life, because their life was not their own.
That's very selfless. That's very, like, to think that you would, you know, when you're experiencing pain. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was experiencing like heavy ass mental anguish, mm-hmm. and just heavy depression. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I wonder, like, what part of it was trauma and what part of it was me denying myself?
Mm-hmm. Probably more of that than anything. It's so deep. It's so deep because now it's your fault. You know? Oh my goodness, it's my fault. It is.
So and see, I never looked at it that way. Mm-hmm. I never did. Yeah. But people keep telling me, "Oh, you're brighter. You're livelier. You look," and mm-hmm. you can't fake that.
Never.
So I remember I would call my mom, you know, and I would be like crying, like struggling with unaliving thoughts, all the things, and she would be like, "I wish I could take it away. Like, I wish I could go through it for you." And that mother's love, like, I would get so annoyed. I'd be like, "Mama, stop." Like, I know, but you can't. So that's not a solution. Like, I would get frustrated. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you say that you would go through it again just so someone else could experience any chance at life.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Oh, totally would. I would never, all of it. every single thing I've gone through. I would do it again. Because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the woman who I am today. All the experiences, all the things that I've seen and done and have gone through has really, really been a blessing to me and to so many other people.
You know, been a blessing to me.
Oh, thank you. And you to me, you know? And so it's all about, I'm able to see people for who they are, not for what they want other people to see. And through all of my trauma, I hope to provide a space of comfort, of non-judgment, so people can just open up and be themselves. And people just tell me all kinds of things every day. It's not a random thing. It just happens. And I feel like I'm like a bus stop or a hospital for the sick. People can come in into my spiritual hospital and plug into my IV, get well, and then they leave. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see my life through my life period and my placement, you know?
How long were you using?
5 years.
5 years.
5 long years.
5 long years. Did you have like friends or it was just your mom?
We had some friends. I don't know if we would call them friends. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. But people that you hung out with.
Yes, but any of my friends or family before that, they were gone. I didn't have anybody. And from the first year, I got high by myself. My mom, nobody knew. And so I was in an enclosed apartment and I hit it. I went to college, I went to work, and I was addicted to crack.
Wow. Did anyone ever like ask you, like, did they ever notice anything different? Like they feel like, you know how Judge Mathis, when it was an episode and he was just like, I can't remember exactly how he said, but you know, you on crack. You did anybody ever look at you and be like, what's going on? Or feel like they can see anything on the outside because you were doing regular life.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a couple people and I'm not, I'm going to touch on it because it's in the show, but okay, I'm going to tell you 2 people that looked at me and said it. And I'm like, oh. One of them was my English professor. When I was,
Well, I'm sure he probably saw so many, you know, students coming through. What school did you go to?
No, he didn't. Okay. Look, I'm like, no, what it was I decided.
He was on it.
Nope. I decided to get high while I was in school on my break. Oh. And I changed. You see what I mean? He saw me change from one person to the other. Right. So that's what that was, like red flag, right? And then one time I went to jail for parking tickets. Okay. And I had never got pulled over before. So I figured, I knew it was a mistake, you know, and I got there and it wasn't parking tickets and I did end up going to jail. But the judge told me, oh, I knew you got some problems and you need a break. And what's so
that
deep.
That was so compassionate.
Oh, to me it was.
Because Judge Mathis was not compassionate. He saw them, he saw himself in them. But I feel like that was a way more kind and compassionate thing to say, or you know what I mean?
I totally do. What's crazy is I had prayed and prayed and prayed. Look, if you're real, I need a break. I don't have any control.
You need a relief,
And I swear to goodness, the next couple of days I was in jail. And so I said, this was my prayer answered. I knew it. So many times.
It gave you relief.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, and I knew that it was directly from what I had asked out loud. You know what I mean? And so often we pray, we meditate, we ask for things that we want or we think we need or we feel that we need. But when it comes, it's often not in the way that we see it or that we saw it, and we don't recognize it as the blessing that it is. Right. Because it's like, no, I asked to win the lottery and I need money now. Actually, you don't really need the money right now, because if you had what you're asking for, you wouldn't know how to handle it. So sometimes we have to just go through a little detour to get to the prize, whatever that is for each individual, you know?
What do you feel like the biggest challenges you faced in those 5 years?
Ooh, the biggest challenge I think was to not be in control. You know, to feel like this little white pebble was controlling me. I woke up, I went to sleep. It was, okay, what can I do to get this next? Who can I trick? You know, what can I steal? And I don't lie. Like, I don't even feel, I'm a terrible liar.
Right.
That's why I just tell the truth. So, and some people don't like it because I'm like, yeah, I don't like that or whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't, and it's just out of my character. I wouldn't steal a bubble gum. I'm like, oh my gosh, you left 10 cents. You know, I'm one of those. But yeah, it turned into it was a whole different thing.
Whole different thing. So you're in a relationship.
I am.
And she's here.
She is. Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Y'all can't see Liz, but Liz is, everybody needs a Liz, is what Deonna said.
Yes, it is. They do.
I love it. Did you meet her after?
I did.
Okay.
Literally right after. Couple years after. But it's still, the wound was fresh.
Yeah, right. So
fresh.
How was that?
It was good. We met in college. And
were you dating during college?
I was. Yep. I was dating, and I had the person that I was with at the time. I had just gotten clean out. We were together, and I was getting high while I was at her house. She wasn't getting high. I was. And then I got clean, and then I met Elizabeth in college. Mm-hmm.
Wow. What was that like for you, Liz? Like meeting her freshly into recovery, and dating her.
Deonna back then was different. You know, she has all of this confidence and all of this very high self-esteem, and she's this love and light energy. And she's always been this love and light energy. She's always been all of that.
And y'all have been together for 19 years.
19 years,
like,
yes.
That's like 80,000 in relationship years.
Yes. Yes. But back then she hid that part of herself as much as she could for a long time. You know, if you're this person and you're ashamed of who that person, you know, of who you used to be, and you're ashamed of that, then that's not something you're running to tell people or running to let people experience about yourself.
Right.
So I didn't find that out immediately, you know, and it's not something you could look at her and see. Okay. It's not something that you could be around her and feel. She's always been this. She looks like how she is on the inside now. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So it took some time for her to feel safe enough to be able to talk about all of that.
So you didn't say, like, on a date? About how long was it before you disclosed?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. Probably not.
Not too long, because when we first got together, her mother was still using.
Okay.
And so it probably came out in, you know, conversations about that, and some of the experiences. I remember times where, you know, her sister would call and be like, okay, we have to go get mom. She's somewhere and I need to go find her, you know, and she would be with me, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Right. I didn't, not that I never seen, you know, drugs or someone addicted to a drug, but I wasn't around it. Right. I didn't have that same environment. So it was all new to me, you know, and so I'm just a very loyal person, you know, and so I'm trying to be the person, the safe zone, the comfort zone. She didn't have a spot, a person, a place where it was solely for her good. And you know what I mean?
Did that ever deter you? Did you feel like any type of, like, you know, caution or like fear of continuing once you found out?
I didn't. It's like, it's just kind of how, like, she says she doesn't, you know, worry about ever going back. She didn't have that worry, and I didn't have that worry. Wow. You know, I didn't take that on. She didn't have that. So there's no need for me to take that on. You know?
Absolutely. I think that's beautiful. Like, especially, like, you know, codependency and like taking on each other's problems and things like that. It sounds like you have, even though you spend a lot of time together, like you have like that separate, you know, those separate buckets of you have your life, we just coexist, you know? Can you share like any, you know, practices or rituals that have become essential parts of like your daily routine?
Well, like I think I mentioned earlier, I meditate.
Meditate and you go to the gym?
Quite a bit. I like the gym. I like to work out. I love to be physical. I just, you know.
Do you pray?
I do. I think it's a difference between prayer and meditation. And I do both. You know, regularly it has to be. I pull angel oracle cards. I journal. I sing. You know what I mean? And I laugh a lot. I mean...
Belly laugh.
Oh, every day. From when we wake up, it's a joke. Something's happening in the door. And so it's a lot of laughter. I cried for most of my life. And so...
Lord, that just...
Yeah. So, and it's one of the lyrics to one of my songs, most of my life I've cried, you know? And so now I laugh for no reason. Nobody has to join me. You don't have to come in. You don't have to be there. I will walk in somewhere just cracking up. No, don't worry about it. It's just funny, you know? And I find joy in everything. This is crazy. I can't believe I ran out of gas. Or do you know I peed a little bit? You know what I mean? Or whatever. I'm like, that's crazy. Or whatever it is, you know? I've learned that things are happening for me, not to me.
Do you struggle with depression or anxiety at all?
Sometimes I'm high strung a little bit of perfectionist. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if it's gonna be right. You know, but
not to where you can't get out of bed for days.
No, I got to go.
You gotta go.
I got things to
keep
do.
moving.
Yeah.
You know, I find with addictive personalities, you know, one of the show that I watched on Netflix, Feel Good, with May. I can't think of her name, but she has a Netflix stand-up. And I was listening to her on another podcast, and she talked about addictive behaviors. But the show that she has on Netflix in AA, when they would go to AA, you know, AA talks about like, you know, staying busy. You know what I mean? Like stay busy. And I found that I used that with grief. So I lost my mom back in October of last year. But even before that, I really wanted to stay busy. I just didn't have the energy to. So now it's stay busy mode. Like I just put my dog down on Friday. And
how are you?
I'm fine. Okay. But it feels weird to be okay.
Sure. I understand. Yeah.
Because when you said you've cried all your life, I've literally cried all of my life. Yeah. And I mean, I'm a sensitive person, but like now I cry for beautiful things. I still cry.
Yeah.
I still have pain.
I understand.
But I do cry for beautiful things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course I do.
And that was just big to me, staying busy. And not feeling guilty for staying busy, because we do talk about like rest being important and us, you know, not being the strong Black woman, we need to rest. But staying busy is to our benefit. You know, in a way.
Yeah. I think it depends on what are you busy doing? You see?
Busy, what about working on your craft? What about?
It could be that, but a lot of times where I've gotten the most bang for my buck, I'll speak for myself as far as life and my wisdom and my creativity is really sitting and doing nothing. Because because if you're too busy or if you're running all the time, you can't hear the whispers of God, the universe, you know, spirit, creator, whatever your name is, you know, you can't. It comes in whispers. Hey, go over there, talk to this person, paint that right, you know, and it's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. So it's important even to not be busy in your mind, because I get downloads for people all the time. I can't wait till I tell you what I got for you. But it's crazy how when you're centered and you're quiet and your spirit is centered, you'd be surprised what happens, what you can hear, what you can do. And I believe that if we sat more and allowed ourselves to imagine like children and felt, heard, and understood what it is that we really want, what we really want, you know, then I think life will be better for everybody. And you can only do that if you're still.
What do you feel like you really want?
To fulfill my job in this lifetime, to use my voice to help raise the consciousness of humanity. That's what I really want. To be used in that capacity, and that's what I'm doing.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Some people never really know or learn what motivates them.
You know why?
Tell me.
Because they're busy. They're busy. They're listening to other people, places, and things, and they're not sitting in the grass listening to their self, their higher self tell them, guide them. So we spend time, and I did it myself. This is how I know. This is like, oh, I'm supposed to sit here. You know, I was kind of made to sit down. I was doing everything, and I'm going to try it, and maybe I should try this, and ooh, I should do it, this or that. And it never was what I was supposed to do, but I thought that's what it was supposed to do. So the energy and the time wasted in doing what I thought I wanted instead of being guided to what I needed, those are two very different things. So I think one should ask themselves, are they wasting their time trying to figure things out? Because from my perspective, that's not your business. What are you supposed to be doing? What do you need to do? What is, I ask every day, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? And to whom? So now I don't just open my mouth and talk to everybody. Because see, the gifts that I have, things come in for everybody that I meet. But only those who I'm guided to speak to, I say something to. So now I feel so much better. I'm not wasting my energy. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
I know that's right. I think this has just been like so great. I feel like it's inspirational, but being in your presence is just more, inspirational because I can see your face light up. I could feel your energy. So it's like the way you found meaning and purpose after such a crazy, difficult, traumatic journey is just beautiful, and encouraging. I've loved having you here. I hope that people that are here in Oklahoma City will go see your show. I want to hear more about your story. I think like what you've been able to just like create for yourself is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you work a regular job?
No. I retired. No, I tell everybody I retired. I got my first full-time job when I was 12. And I got my first apartment then as well. I turned 13 probably 2 weeks after I got my first apartment. And so I've been working all my life too. My whole life I've been working already, And so I have my times where it's been difficult, on this journey financially. But it's part of my journey too, because this is how I look at it.
So you don't expect to be rich?
Of course I do.
Okay.
I've already been many times. You know what I mean? In this lifetime or another, I feel it. It's a thing. Yeah. So yeah. But can you handle it? Is it time? And at the time, not long, some years ago, but I was very angry with my family for not supporting me. I was angry at sometimes just people around me because I'm like, why won't people just support each other? And I see things very differently than most people see things. And so I was just angry, I think. You know what I mean? And just very resentful of people. Money-wise, what I wanted to do was aim to be wealthy first. Wealthy in my spirit. Wealthy in what I give people, so when people can feel my energy, when I come in the room or when I'm in a space, if something changes, something's different. To get that, I had to not be rich. I had to be cash poor. See, and a lot of people were looking for money will change you. Having the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. A lot of people want that, but it's a time for it. And I know that I was being prepared for such a time as this. Okay. Because if I had the money too soon, I would have lost my soul. And I feel like I'm important to the world. And so I had to experience many things that other people have experienced that I've never experienced before. And that was, and not having money was one of those things. Yeah. And it was one of the best experiences ever because I saw things, I saw people that I probably wouldn't have never even
had the chance.
Never, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who's your biggest spiritual teacher?
I listen to Abraham Hicks a lot.
I already know.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Yeah, I feel, that's how I feel. I'm more like them. Okay. I really do. I was like, oh, that. Yeah. I'm them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes, and so, yep. And so that's probably, been who I listen to a lot. And just over the years lately, especially during my transformation, I had to find people that speak my language. You know what I mean? And I said, oh, now that's what I'm talking about right there, And so,
I could tell you listen to Abraham. I was going to say that first.
Really?
But
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah.
Listen to them this morning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what would you tell somebody, that is where you were during those 5 years?
And so many people are. And they don't know it because they don't have to be drugs. Right. It could be just, what am I going to do with my life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is my purpose here? It's that right there because that is what causes you to do drugs or like I'm worthless. You know what I mean? Or so I would tell someone take advantage of the time that you have sitting there doing nothing. Because a lot of people think it's doing nothing. Really, you're being reconstructed. You're being prepared for what it is your heart is desiring, what it is you're asking for. And a lot of times people think that's in movement, but I'm telling you, stillness speaks volumes.
Have you heard of Trisha Hersey with the Nat Ministry? You should look her up. I'll send it to you on Instagram, but she's all about rest and liberation. And, Black women used to be thrown in jail for not working. And so her whole ministry not, religious related, but is talking to Black women and telling us to sit the hell down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But many people feel like they can't rest.
That's true.
What would you say to them?
This is the thing. I tell people all the time, if you do nothing else but meditate, you can, for today, throw the rest of the day away. I can't breathe without that. And a lot of people out here not breathing because they haven't found, they don't understand that it's in that 5 or 10 minutes. I take some hours myself, but you get there. I start with 30 seconds and now I'm like, I can just travel for hours. It's no problem. But because that's where I get my answers. I don't have to work hard. Things come to me.
I know that's right.
When we ran into each other, things come to me. Literally. All the time. And only in my stillness, I ask for these things. Okay, I want, what I really like? I like boxes. And I want my living room filled with boxes because I like to open boxes. What is our living room filled with?
Packages.
You see what I'm saying? Did we buy them?
No.
Okay, you understand.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that, if you can do that, what are you working for? Why are you working hard for? I'm looking at everybody else like, y'all crazy? Like, for real? But they don't know. They don't know the secret. The secret's been hidden very well from us. To literally sit and imagine and start talking to people about what it is that you don't even see yet. You know what I'm going to do? Because that's kind of how this show came about. I was talking to people about this show for years. Wasn't even there. And then somebody, when it was time, they came to me.
That's powerful.
And said, oh, I know. I'm supposed to help you get your story out. And my response was, I was waiting on you. Okay, what took you so long? We got work to do.
Right.
Because I already knew the order was up. Order up, ding. Okay.
Do you feel like people around you feel like you talk crazy? Like that you're just too positive or too, like there's something?
Yeah, they did for a long time. They don't anymore. They did for a long time, which stopped me from, I'm like, I'm not going to tell people. I'm like, I'm going to be an actress. I'm going to model. I'm going to sing. I want my own show. They're like, girl, bye. Pick one. Right. I've done them all.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so now they're sitting back in awe. And it's so funny because y'all could have been on this journey with me because I could show you how to do it too. But, you know, so what I had to do was cut everybody off that didn't agree with what I was saying. Because it's the agreement that makes the magic happen. It's the
co-creation.
Yeah. It's somebody saying, you know what? I do believe that you're going to do that. Thank you. That's all I need. That's all I need. And then go talk to the next person and the next person. So now when thousands of people agree with you, that is
more powerful.
That is. It's power. That's the power you need. But a lot of people keep their dreams to themselves, or they don't openly talk about what it is they want, mainly because they're afraid of somebody going to judge them. That's what it really is.
Right.
But, you know, when you start talking about things in the unseen that you can't see and that you want and that you just feel is going to happen, I just know it. And people are like, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I have no idea, but I know I am. And I'm so excited, you know, and that's just where I live. You know, whatever I want, I just kind of call it to me.
I love that. So you don't feel like you're struggling?
You know, sometimes I do. But it's just a moment. I have my moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I stand strong in knowing in who I am.
And it won't stay this way.
No, it just gets better from here. Like I said, it's happening for me, not to me. Life. These experiences that I've experienced and that I am still experiencing is not just for me. It's for the world at large. Right. And I know that. So I just be like, okay, another storm. All right. Let's go.
But they don't last.
That's and I get a Medal of Honor. So if I had badges, like I would be covered in them. And so I'm honored to be able to be on the front line for humanity. That's my job. You know what I mean? And I've always cherished that. And even more so now, I say, okay, I get it. So now I know when I meet someone, I went through that for you. I understand what you're going through. Right. And whatever, you know.
And that can be healing in and of itself. How did you get out? How did you start? Like you said, you woke up clean. What does that mean?
One day I went to sleep after weeks of being out on a drug binge. While I was getting high, I was like, man, I need some help. Smoking my crack because I wasn't going to get right. Oh, yeah, in between puffs, I don't know if you're there. I need you. I don't, you know, and I went to sleep, passed out, and I woke up and the taste was out of my mouth. The very desire was gone, and I never did it again. That's what I mean.
Have people told you they didn't believe you when you said that?
Oh, it makes me no difference. I don't even pay attention. I don't know. You know what I mean? Right. But not really. I think I'm at a place in my life and in who I am, people just believe me. Because I ain't gonna lie to kick it. They just believe me.
They just believe.
Yeah. You know? They just know she's not gonna lie to me.
Right.
Straight up.
Straight like that. That's what's up. Well, I just loved having this conversation with you. Having a podcast is something that I don't take lightly because I just get to hear parts of people's stories, and I love it. Like I wish it could be a thing. So
what is you wish? What is this? What do you want?
I want to be doing a nationally syndicated podcast, and I want to write a book.
Okay. When's your book going to be done?
I don't know.
Let's set a date. When is it going to be done? And it's okay. I'm going to let you think about that. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times when we say we're going to try to do something or I'm going to do something, and I've done it so long with my weight, that's fine. You know, if we don't set a date, sometimes it's difficult to find the motivation to do it. Because when I first started my book and it's not finished yet, I was like, oh my God, I've never written over 20 pages. But you know what I mean? I'm not even about to I can't even do this. But I asked for help. See, we forget to ask. Well, you know, and not saying that you're not. No. You know, not at all.
Because I've definitely done it, but stopped. And the reason being is because that doesn't come naturally to me. More talking comes naturally to me.
I understand.
So that's why I would love to I'd love to be like Angie Martinez and just talking to people about real life.
Yeah, I love that. So I agree with you. You're going to do that.
Thank you.
That's so great. I'm just so like honored to be all famous and stuff. And you are just all over the world. Come on. And I get to be on here before that even happens. Like, don't forget me. Don't forget the little people.
No, never. It would be dope.
It's going to be. It's going to be. Yes, dope. Use your words. It's going to be so powerful.
It is.
Yes.
And I have so many people believing, but it's just
in agreeing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
You're the greatest, I wouldn't even say sidekick because you do all the things.
All the things.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for hanging out and listening. I would really, really appreciate it if you are local, go out on a date with your partner, go see Deonna's show at Factory Obscura coming up. Follow her on Instagram.
Yes.
At
official Deonna Marie.
And check her out. Look at her stories. And, I'm just really glad that she took the time to speak with me today.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
I had some good nuggets. Thanks for hanging out. Thoughts About That was brought to you by the Possibilities Podcast platform.